Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we're here for a short story discussion. A short story discussion that comes to us from the hallowed pages of Papa himself. This will be a short story discussion of A Clean, Well-Lighted Place. And what I'm going to do here, I've got a few excerpts here that I'm going to read out loud just to sort of recap the story. I think that that's probably a pretty decent place to start something like this in order to really have something to dig our teeth into. It was late, and everyone had left the cafe except an old man who sat in the shadow the leaves of the tree made against the electric light. In the daytime, the street was dusty, but at night the dew settled the dust, and the old man liked to sit because he was deaf, and now at night it was quiet and he felt the difference. The two waiters inside the cafe knew that the old man was a little drunk, and while he was a good client, they knew that if he became too drunk he would leave without paying, so they kept watch on him. Last week he tried to commit suicide, one waiter said. Why? He was in despair. What about? Nothing. How do you know it was nothing? He has plenty of money. The old man looked at him. Another brandy, he said. You'll be drunk, the waiter said. The old man looked at him. The waiter went away. He'll stay all night, he said to his colleague. I'm sleepy now. I never get to bed before 3 o'clock. He should have killed himself last week. The waiter took the brandy bottle and another saucer from the counter inside the cafe and marched out to the old man's table. He put down the saucer and poured the glass of brandy. You should have killed yourself last week, he said to the deaf man. The old man motioned his finger. A little more, he said. The waiter poured onto the glass so that the brandy slopped over the top and ran down the stem into the saucer of the pile. Thank you, the old man said. The waiter took the bottle back to the cafe. He sat down at the table with his colleague again. He's drunk now, he said. He's drunk every night. What did he want to kill himself for? How should I know? How did he do it? He hung himself with a rope. Who cut him down? His niece. Why did they do it? Fear for his soul. How much money has he got? He's got plenty. The old man looked from his glass across the square, then over at the waiters. Another brandy, he said, pointing to his glass. The waiter, who was in a hurry, came over. Finished, he said, speaking with the omission of syntax stupid people employ when talking to drunken people or foreigners. No more tonight. Close now. Another, said the old man. No, finished. The waiter wiped the edge of the table with a towel and shook his head. The old man stood up slowly, counted the saucers, took a leather coin purse from his pocket and paid for the drinks, leaving a half pesto for tip. The waiter watched him go down the street, a very old man walking unsteadily but with dignity. Why didn't you let him stay and drink? The unhurried waiter asked. They were putting up the shutters. It's not 2:30. I want to go home to bed. What's an hour? More to me than him. An hour is the same. You talk like an old man yourself. He can buy a bottle and drink at home. It's not the same. No, it's not, agreed the waiter with a wife. He did not wish to be unjust. He was only in a hurry. We are two different kinds, the older waiter said. He was now dressed to go home. It is not only a question of youth and confidence, although those things are very beautiful. Each night I am reluctant to close up because there may be someone out there who needs a cafe. Hombre, there are bodegas open all night. You do not understand. This is a clean and pleasant cafe. It is well lighted. The light is very good, and also, now, there are shadows of the leaves. The other waiter leaves. The waiter who's in a hurry leaves, leaving the unhurried waiter, as Hemingway has called him, alone with the barman. The barman looked up at him but did not answer. It was too late at night for conversation. "You want another copita?" the barman asked. "No, thank you," said the waiter and went out. He disliked bars and bodegas. A clean, well-lighted cafe was a very different thing. Now, without thinking, he would go home to his room. He would lie in bed, and finally, with daylight, he would go to sleep. After all, he said to himself, it is probably only insomnia. Many must have it. So sort of the crux of this story is that there are two waiters and a nasty old man. One of the waiters wants to go home to his wife. The other waiter, he's in no special hurry. It's another Hemingway phrase, there will be no special hurry. A farewell to arms. But everyone in this story wants something. The old man wants liquor. The waiter who's in a hurry wants to go home. And the waiter who's not in a hurry, he wants to provide a nice place. The old man is obviously troubled. The old man is suffering through something, though we don't really know what. After all, I believe if you count the dialogue tags, it is the hurried waiter who is always saying he's got enough money. What does he want? What does he want? Why didn't he do it? He's got enough money. What's he sad for? I believe that is the waiter in a hurry. The unhurried waiter seems to understand. The unhurried waiter who wants to provide a nice place for the old man, who wants to provide a nice place for anyone who might need it. There seems to be an underlying sort of condition of suffering in this story. For some of us, that suffering is temporary. The waiter who wants to go home, his suffering ends in the story. His suffering is completely surrounded by the fact that on one side, the old man keeps him there. On the other side, the waiter who's not in a hurry gives him ribs, right? Ribs him. He is youthful. He is, at one point, it is said, the waiter who is not in a hurry says to the waiter who is in a hurry. Hemingway has a problem naming his characters. He doesn't like to do it. "You have youth, confidence, and a job," the older waiter said. "You have everything." And this makes me wonder. This makes me wonder if that is the point. The younger waiter has no sympathy. The younger waiter is pretty much a prick, through and through, to the old man. The old man is going to get drunk. The younger waiter says, "Hey, get the hell out." He says to the old man that he should have killed himself. He slops the brandy over the edge of the glass for the old man. Very little sympathy. Because there's no empathy. This short story, there seems to be something to it that maybe the older you are, maybe the more you've been through, the world breaks you. And if you are nothing quite remarkable, the world will break you, and there will be no special hurry. The older waiter and the old man, they're already broken. Whatever it is that's troubling the old man, he's already tried to get out a couple times, or at least once that we know of. And then that final paragraph about the older waiter. He disliked bars and bodegas. A clean, well-lighted cafe was a very different thing. Now, without thinking further, he would go home to his room. He would lie in bed, and finally, with daylight, he would go to sleep. After all, he said to himself, it is probably only insomnia. Many must have it, not insomnia. Seems to be alone. He's going to go home and lie in his bed. There's no mention here of anyone else. The old man doesn't have anyone else. There's two people in the story that do. One is the younger waiter, who's on his way to spend the rest of the night with his wife. The other is a soldier who walks past, and he walks past seemingly flailing the fact that he's out past curfew or something, because the guard is going to get him. As the waiters converse, the guard will get him. He's with a date. The guard will get him. But that soldier doesn't seem to care. So what if the guard gets me? There is no authority to take this from me. To take having a mate, to take being with a woman, whatever it is there that seems to be on display, whatever that is, the power dynamic, authority can't take that from you. Seems to be the lesson that we learn from the soldier. But the people in the story who don't have anyone, they're sort of lost. There's nowhere they have to be. There's no one anywhere waiting for them. No one expecting them. And they seem to be broken people. Yeah, I think that's all I got for this one. Get out.